So Sunday, if you want a yay boo, here you go. Let's put you in the spot of FC Dallas. You've worked hard to put together a team that wins the West. You know you're going to have, and you've got a great attendance record this season, one of their best ever. I think they averaged 17,000 a match or something up there in Frisco. You get you're off you get the bye week. Then you're going to play a home playoff game against those famous Seattle Sounders with Clint Dempsey and the gang. But your kickoff is going to be about 40 minutes before the Cowboys kick off against the Eagles across town. That's probably the yay boo. It's a playoff game. Yay. Yay. It's up against Cowboys-Eagles. But they will battle and attempt to do their part, which is advance to the Western Finals, if they can, Dan, get a result against the Seattle Sounders Sunday night. And this got us talking in the meeting. And
this took up all our meeting time, and I led it with this. I'm very confused by the rules of these playoffs once I looked into it. Now,
you looked into the Major League Soccer playoffs.
I don't know. I saw a headline that interested me.
I like this.
So, and I'll detail the rules here in a second, but
right.
I'm not saying if you change these rules and made it a 4-game or 7-game series or something that I would be any more likely to watch it. Like if they're playing this game in my neighborhood, I'm not going to the game. I don't care that they're up against the Cowboys. I really don't have much interest in soccer at all. Certainly not.
Duly noted.
With local soccer, except that I do admit, and I've got a lot of people that have been to these games and say it's a blast. It's a great time. I have a kid that's into soccer, so I do take her to FC Dallas games. But I'm just saying, noting that I don't know that changing these, and I think a lot of people are like me, that you're either a soccer fan or not, and maybe you're even an England soccer fan and you don't have any time for the minor leagues they got going on here. So I don't know that railing against their playoff system means anything. Okay, but I think their playoff system is kind of messed up in the fact that and I just learned this today.
Okay.
So they might advance in the playoffs. They lost 2-1 in the first game in Seattle.
They were ahead with an hour in. They were ahead, Dan, 1-0.
They have 2-game playoff series, and they will advance, but it's got to be weird scenarios to advance.
Well, it's basically
if they win,
it's aggregate. Consider each game as a half. So it's not a series. It's a cumulative score of the two matches.
And if you do better on the road,
that's the tiebreaker.
Then you're rewarded more. For instance, so they lost 2-1 in Seattle, but they say getting a road goal. That was a good deal for them.
That's
they
very
wanted to
big.
get a goal because so if they win 1-0 or 2-1,
okay, now here's where you're going to get confused. If they win 1-0 here,
you win.
Dallas wins.
Because then it would be a 2-2 final.
And you scored in Seattle.
They would have a 1-0 road goal. That's like a tiebreaker, is the road goal.
Right.
If they win 3-2, they will not advance.
If they win 2-1, now we're tied and we go to OT and maybe a shootout.
But you're right about 3-2.
3-2, they would lose.
Right.
Because Seattle would have 2 road goals.
And you would only have one.
You would only have one. 2-1.
So if you win 8-7,
so
you lose.
Unfortunately,
anything over
you need
one road goal.
You need a chart to kind of understand what each score means, and that's annoying, especially to the American sports fan, for sure. And
certainly if they lose, they just lose.
If they lose, they just lose.
Out.
Yes, or if they draw, they lose because they lost the first leg 2-1.
So
they must win, and they
seems messed up to me,
probably must win 1-0.
Why not a nice 3-game series? I don't understand why you can't just do that and use.
Well, okay, so
use the W or L as the tiebreaker.
Okay, so here's the fork in the road, and we talked about this just a little bit, but let's elaborate. You are in charge of Major League Soccer. You are in charge of the best level of soccer the United States can put together. You're designing a format to appeal to the largest audience possible. Do you, A, put rules together that appeal to the American sports fan, or B, and I think these are different, it's a different group, do you put in rules that are familiar to the world soccer fan? The American sports fan doesn't like ties, so we must get those out of here. Remember that we did this in the NHL. They don't like, they like big playoffs. They would prefer a best-of-3 series to a home-and-home. But the world soccer fan is fine with draws, and they also understand in, like, the Champions League, you play a home leg and an away leg, and the aggregate score determines the winner. If it's a tie, then the away goals is the tiebreaker. And if that's a tie, we keep going. So really what they're banking on is there are more people that watch Chelsea and Arsenal and Manchester United than there are people like you who spent most of your life not caring for soccer, or it was one of your children's activities. And therefore there's almost no rule they could put in, short of nudity and probably not male, that would get you to watch more, right? So they had to make the decision. They went with, let's appeal to the soccer fan and kind of ride that wave of Chelsea and Manchester United and Arsenal and Liverpool, rather than trying to get NFL fans or NBA fans to really. I think they want everybody. I'm just thinking.
Yeah, but then I'd have to ask you, as a soccer fan, like, are you a soccer fan because they do 2-game series?
No,
would it detract
but
from you at all if they did a 3-game series?
No, it would not.
And gave whoever's higher in the standings the 2 games at home?
I wonder if they're.
Or would it detract from you if they did 1 game?
I wonder if, like in baseball,
like in the NFL,
they're trying to also get their season done at a time of year where there's not major snow and weather issues. So I wonder if they're hurrying to get it done by mid-November as opposed to.
And they want everybody to make some money
I don't
with
know.
a home game.
And they can't just outright go, because they play a straight even schedule, eliminate postseason at all, because this is America.
Yes,
the
very.
What if you eliminated postseason, but just the 2 teams on top? Do they have 2 divisions?
They have East and West, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So, like in the old days of baseball, before what? The 60s, right?
Yeah,
or 69?
If you won the pennant, you're going to the World Series.
Yeah.
And you win the pennant by winning the regular season.
And then you could have a nice long series, perhaps.
And see, I love that, but it's just so antithetical to the way we've been brought up here. With,
you know what they want to do is include more cities so that
Yes.
you don't lose interest if you're...
The shell game of the playoffs and
Yeah.
thinking everyone has a chance.
So is it weird, like, when you're watching it? I mean, it doesn't really have anything to do with your soccer acumen. This is math.
Yes.
Do people really have the chart out?
No, it's not that complex. I mean, if you win by 1 goal on Sunday, if FC Dallas wins by 1 goal, it has to be 1-0.
And are there strategy implications?
Like, yeah.
You're going to play a different style of game because
you attack to go get that away goal.
Not only do you have to win.
They have to win by. They probably have to win by 2 on Sunday because Seattle's probably going to score.
They should win by 5.
Well, they try.
Certainly, that would be.
So if they win
That'd be
3-1,
if they win 3-1,
5-3, you win.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because now in total goals, you're through. I would imagine one marketing downside is giving any of your consumers a headache trying to figure out who's winning. That's probably not good.
But like when it's 2-1 in the first game, and I guess what that second goal scored in like the 78th.
No, I think the second. I think Dempsey's goal may have come like in stoppage time or real close to it.
So, but let's say that it comes with like 15 minutes left in the game. Is it reasonable to stop trying to score and to just say we cannot surrender?
And park the bus.
Yeah,
absolutely. Everyone back.
That's
11
really
guys
weird.
behind the ball. Yeah.
But if it's 2-1 after this game's over,
then they'll play 30 minutes.
You don't go, yay, we won. You go, whoa.
We got to keep playing.
Messing with my emotions.
Yeah. But.
And then they play a half hour of overtime, right? But.
Yes.
Why is it 2 15-minute periods? Do you get to change goals?
Because in soccer, there's no sudden death. We're trying to make
sides?
everything. Yes. You play 2 15-minute halves, and everybody can score 4 goals. And then you find out who's ahead after that. And if it's still tied, we go to stoppage time.
And then if it's still tied?
Well, you don't. I mean, or I'm sorry, did I say stoppage time? A shootout.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll have a winner in the shootout, but everybody hates that, so we're trying to avoid it. Anyway, so there you go.
Really brought up Pablo Escobar.
Oh, all right.
Oh, yeah,
for another day.
That is another day.
It's worth it. It's worth talking about it. But, yeah, it's got to be another day because now here's the news.
And in the news, who knew that honoring the military